What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV, and in today's video over on the MLB The Show Twitter page today, they listed off a bunch of teams and they were asking us who on the Rockies, for example, should have gotten a finest card. Create and share your own finest cards and use the hashtag #TheShowFinest so we can see them all. And so they did this for every team, and it really got me thinking that maybe they're going to put in some of these cards that people are going to suggest. So what I thought I would do is I would go through each of the teams in this video and give my personal suggestion on who they should take. Now, you could do this one of two ways. You could do this in the way of, let's look at the stats, and based on the stats, who should get a finest card based off their stats. Or the way that I'm more looking at it, which live series cards would I like to see get a boosted version. You know, that's kind of what the finest cards have always been throughout their history, are like a boosted version of the card that's pretty fun to use. So I'm going to go through all the teams, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion on who I think should get a show's finest boosted card. Down in the comments below, feel free to leave, a couple of them that you would like, if not all the teams. So without further ado, let's get into who I would give a second finest card to on each of the teams. Alright, so I went ahead and went through all the teams, and this is actually, sometimes it's like, it's really easy and the card just absolutely jumps out at you, and it's like, this is the most obvious pick ever. And then sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. I actually went back on Twitter and looked at some of the responses for some of the teams from some of their fans, just because it was difficult to pick one. So I went with kind of like, I looked at their suggestions to kind of get an idea of who I think I would like to pick. For the Orioles, we're gonna go with Michael Givens. This was one of the more difficult ones. I don't really have too strong of a feel here. I mean, maybe Mark Trumbo would be cool. I don't really have too strong of a feeling on any of these cards, so I just went with Michael Givens. I always like kind of pitching with him in BR, so I went with him. This is one where it just jumps right out at you. Mookie Betts, without question. He doesn't have a signature series card yet, so it's like, I'd like to see him get a finest card for sure. Mookie Betts, without question, to me, is the finest card I'd like to see from Boston. Like a boosted Mookie Betts would be amazing. For the Yankees, I'm going to go ahead and go with Aaron Judge. He also does not have a signature series card yet this year. I don't know if he has enough time or stats built up, but it kind of surprised me that he never got one for his rookie year or anything. A boosted Aaron Judge would be awesome. He's got a cool swing. He's a very popular player. That's who I'd go with the Yankees. Now, this one was a little bit more difficult. I probably should have gone to Twitter on this one, to be honest with you, and taken a look there. But I'm going to go with Kevin Kiermaier. I like his swing a lot. He's got really good defense. So if he had some boosted hitting, he'd be like an interesting card to have. Good left-handed swing, great defense, good speed. So if he just boosted up that hitting, that would be great. For the Blue Jays, I'm going to go with Kevin Biggio. I had to look up how to pronounce his name exactly, but I know we have a card for Vlad. We have one for Bo Bichette. I think we even have one for Gurriel Jr. So it's time for Biggio to get one so that Blue Jays fans can put together a lineup with their best, with their young core that's coming up. That'd be really cool in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Kevin Biggio for the Blue Jays. For the White Sox, I'm going to go with MONCADA. Amazing swing, switch hitter. Just needs like more defense. Obviously, he needs some boost to his hitting and his vision. This would be a really cool card. Shout out to Fuzzy on this one. I know he loves MONCADA's swing. For the Indians, I'm going to go with Carlos Santana. This might kind of surprise you as to why, but look at those secondary positions. He actually has a secondary position of catcher. So he can be an amazing hitting catcher that's a switch hitter. His defense wouldn't be good. His speed probably would not be good either. It'd be really lit to have another switch hitting catcher, that's for sure. So I'm going to go with Carlos Santana of the Indians. The Tigers was a really difficult one as well. I didn't have too much of a strong feeling here, so I was going to go with Nico Goodrum. I know he's a really popular card in BR. Look at all those different positions he could play. He just needs some boosted hitting stats, a little bit boosted fielding stats. His speed's pretty good at 81, and I just know he's a popular card in BR, so I'm going to go with Nico Goodrum. The Royals, for me, that's my favorite team. If you guys are new to my videos, I'm a huge Royals and Chiefs fan. I'm from Kansas City. So this one, to to me, I feel like if anything, I have like a vested interest in seeing like the card from my team. I would go with Alberto Mondesi just because it'd be a switch hitting shortstop with tons of speed, good fielding. He could also play second base. You'd also probably put him in third base if they wanted to give him that, but he's got a great swing in this game, and he just needs boosted hitting stats. His hitting stats need to be boosted, and he would just be an amazing card. Like, can you imagine like a 95 Alberto Mondesi with tons of hitting and tons of vision and all this speed and defense? I would love to have that card. They had an 85 card of him like a couple years ago that was pretty good, so I'd like that. Shout out, Perez didn't play, so I'd like to have a boosted Perez. I know there's like an 86, and Dozier would be amazing to have as well. Such a good hitter, and his future is so bright with the Royals. For the Twins, this one might surprise you. This one was actually difficult to pick because there's a lot of players on this team that I'd like to pick. You know, Polanco, Barrios would be really cool to have. I'm actually going to go with a boosted Byron Buxton with 99 speed and all of his fielding prowess. I've always liked his swing also. He needs boosted hitting stats. He'd be an interesting boosted center fielder to have, like tons of speed, tons of fielding, good swing. Just needs hitting stats. So for the Angels, this one's a little bit different. I looked through their stuff, but I know Shohei Ohtani, he already has one for the field, but I would like to see a fineness card where he was a pitcher. He would instantly go into my starting rotation if they came out with like a finest Shohei Ohtani. But I want the pitcher version. I don't want the fielding version, if that makes sense. The pitcher version of him is amazing, especially a pitcher version of him with hitting stats. You could almost make this like the crown jewel if you had another finest collection or something like that to close out the year. I would go with Shohei Ohtani, but the pitching version, because I know he already has the other version, but I go with the pitching version. For the Athletics, I'm gonna go. This was another tough one because they have so many like good mid-tier players. This is a very tough one. I know a lot of their fans are gonna want Marcus Semien. You know, Matt Olson is really good and is severely underrated. You know, check out like Draftneck Mark's videos about him and when he ranked the first baseman. I know he's really underrated. I'm gonna go with Chris Davis though. All the power. Let's give him a little bit more contact. Let's give him a little bit more vision. Let's give him some kind of respectable fielding and maybe a little bit more speed. And then like he's got such a great swing. You know, let's throw him on the bench as like a potential pinch hitter that people could use. I'd like to see Chris Davis get some shine. For the Mariners, this is a tough one, honestly, for me. I'm just going to go with Mitch Haniger. I thought about going with the quote-unquote better Seager, according to Mariners fan Clutch. But I'm going to go with Mitch Haniger. I really couldn't decide on this one, so I'm just going to go with Mitch Haniger, to be honest, because I know their fans love him. For the Rangers, this one might surprise you, but I'm going to go with Mike Minor. I really like Mike Minor's release. I always have liked pitching with him in this game. Four-seam fastball, slider, changeup, knuckle, curve are all solid pitches. If he got super boosted pitching stats, he would actually be a really good pitcher to use. I know he doesn't have the sinker, but that's who I would go with off the Rangers is Mike Minor. Off the Astros, I would go with Jose Altuve. This is kind of difficult too, just because they have a lot of good players. I don't think we've seen like a super boosted Springer that I can remember. There might be, but I would go with Altuve. He hasn't got a signature series card, which is kind of surprising to me that he never got one, considering how good he's actually been recently. He was one of the best second basemen that I can remember, honestly. Let's see him get a finest card. He also has a secondary position of shortstop. Get his speed boosted back up. His fielding is so low in this game. He actually has some power, but you know, give him some power and some vision. I think Altuve would be a really good one to have for this. Now the Braves. Now the Braves have a lot of different players that could have one that also already have really good cards. Ozzy Albies is one that, you know, instantly you think about going with this, but I'm gonna go a little bit surprising. What about Darren O'Day? What about a boosted sidearming Darren O'Day with a slider and a sinker and a four-seam fastball with amazing H/9 and K/9? Give him a little bit more stamina. He already has 99 break. You know, maybe he gets a little bit more velocity. I think Darren O'Day would be a really cool boosted card. Marlins were a really tough one. This one I did have to go to Twitter because I couldn't think of anyone outside of Brian Anderson, honestly. Ryan Stanek maybe would be cool, but I ended up going with Jorge Alfaro, who I'm not too familiar with, but he does have 99 arm strength. He's got pretty good hitting, so maybe he could be, and he's got 69 speed. So actually, like, just boosting all that up, boosting up his stuff, he'd actually be probably pretty damn good. So I don't know a lot about him, but I just went with their fan base on that one. The Nationals, I really wanted to go with Steven Strasburg, but he's got a lot of cards in the game already. I also really want to go with Trey Turner, but he has like a little bit of a boosted card already as well. Kendrick. There's so many people on this team, but I thought about going with Victor Robles just because we had a card a couple years back where it was like they have those, you know, the Future Stars cards, and they used to have one for Robles that was pretty cool with like 99 speed. That was fun to play with in center field. So why not a Victor Robles for the World Champion Nationals? With the Mets, this one was kind of obvious to me. I would go with Noah Syndergaard. He'd be a really cool card to have in the game. Just boost it up again. Sinker, slider, four seam, change up, curveball, throws absolute gas. So he would be a really good one for them to put back in the game, in my opinion. That would be a cool finest card to have. I know like a Conforto would be really cool too as well. For the Phillies, I'm just such a big fan of Rhys Hoskins that I would love to have a boosted Rhys Hoskins. I love his swing. He needs some more speed. He needs some more fielding. Maybe he just would be a bench bat. But with the Phillies, I'm going to go with Rhys Hoskins. With the Cubs, we still haven't seen a finest Anthony Rizzo or anything like that. But I think Anthony Rizzo would be amazing just because I honestly think a lot of the Cubs fans, from what I can tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I think a lot of the Cubs fans actually think Anthony Rizzo is like the best player on their team still, if not the most clutch player on their team. So it'd be cool to see Anthony Rizzo just get a boosted card, you know, boost up that contact versus left and power versus left, boost up that speed a little bit. That'd be a cool one. Even Schwarber would be cool too, but he's got a lot of cards, to be honest with you. So that's who I would go with for the Cubbies. I would go with Anthony Rizzo. For the Reds, this is a little bit tricky. I mean, a Trevor Bauer boosted would be cool. Sonny Gray boosted would be cool. Castillo already has the All-Star card, and Suarez, he has the finest card. Votto's got a SIG. So I'm going to go with Aristides Aquino. I don't know if I said that right. I probably did not say that right, but you guys know I always don't say something right. I know who he is though, man. He's got that super cool swing. He was hitting 1,000,000 home runs last year on his debut. So I'm going to go with Aquino. That's who I would pick for the Reds. For the Brewers, I'm going to go with Mike Moustakas. These guys already all have one, so I'm going to go with Moustakas. He's never really had a card like this, and he's got a great swing. You can play him at third, first, or second, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go with Mike Moustakas for this one. The Pirates, this is another difficult one that I honestly had to look up. I was kind of thinking about Chris Archer because he was always fun to pitch with. Some other fans said Jameson Taillon. I think I would go, honestly, I would probably go with just Starling Marte, just to give him a boosted card. He was always fun to use when he was a little bit better. He still is not bad at an 84 gold. I'm just saying, like, he used to be a really popular card that people would use because he had good defense, good speed. He's never really had the power that I remember, but I would go with Starling Marte. For the Cardinals, this one's pretty easy for me. Like, when you just have like a favorite player that really sticks out, and one of my favorite players to watch is Jordan Hicks. He's got the sinker, the slider, and the fastball, and he throws harder than almost anybody I've ever seen. I would love to have this card in my bullpen. I'd be a big fan of Jordan Hicks being in the game. Plus, he doesn't have like a super card or anything right now, so I'd love to have Jordan Hicks be a part of the mix on my team. For the Diamondbacks, I'd go way back into the vault for this one. Initially, I was thinking the freight train, David Peralta. Shout out to Bengal on that one, but I think the one, and Draw Dyson's one of my favorite players, but let's go with Rake. Let's go with Rake Lamb. You know, what a great boosted card this would be with that swing and everything. Just getting some shine back for Rake. Maybe give him a little bit more contact versus left and a little bit more power versus left. He needs like max power versus right. He needs that max power. He does that just so amazing against right-handed pitching with that swing. Looks like he even has a secondary of left field. So I would go with Rake Lamb here for sure. Now let's round out the last couple ones here. Trevor Story, their fans want him. Everybody will want him. Shortstop with tons of speed, tons of power, great swing. I think Trevor is, second, third base. Trevor Story definitely, without question, has to be the choice here for the Rockies. For the Dodgers, I'm going to go a little bit throwback as well in this one. Corey Seager, man. Corey Seager was the man in MLB 17. Even MLB 16, he was a beast, but MLB 17, he was the man. He kind of, he's injured in 18. So I'm gonna go with Corey Seager. I like to see him get another card. One of my favorite players in the MLB. And the last two are some good ones. Manny Machado never got a signature series, and I'm not really sure why he hasn't gotten a signature series yet. But he can play first or short. Great swing. I think D Goss uses his swing on his cap. So I would definitely go with Manny Machado for sure here. I think that would be a great one to have. Yeah, and he needs a finest card, man. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see like a finest Eric Hosmer or something like that, but I think Manny Machado definitely needs one. The Giants, let's go with Johnny Cueto. I know this one would make Seabrev really happy because he doesn't have a signature series card quite yet. So let's give him a finest card, boosted up stats. You know, maybe throw his sinker back in there for him instead of like a two-seam fastball. Get it like at that pitch, so we have a changeup, a slider, and a sinker. He would be nasty if they could give him that for the finest cards. So those are all my suggestions, guys. I hope you guys like this kind of videos. I want to put some more gameplay up on the channel too, but we're gonna have a lot of videos too where we just talk about MLB The Show. So I hope you guys are enjoying those. If you guys wouldn't mind clicking one of these videos and watching another one of my videos, that really helps me out if you guys do that. So I would appreciate it if you guys would do that. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.